Lately, I've been really thinking about the aging process and just how we change and how we shift while we age. I'm not talking about aging in necessarily in the terms of getting old, because you can really be playful and young and look at the world around you with this playful mindset, even if you're growing older. But of course, there are changes that happen along the way, and some of them are quite subtle, so you're not maybe able to see them right away. But the things that I notice, because I've been on this sort of, I don't want to call it like self-discovery journey, but just being very aware of how I react to things and how I take action or don't take action, and what are my blockages, and all of these things that are in this realm of personal development, self-growth. And I do feel that some of these things are definitely maybe things that younger people or people who are younger than me might want to know about. These are some of the things that I was not even able to imagine when I was younger to honestly go through and just grow through them, and not avoid the growth, but just really truly dive into it and take everything that you can, even through the lows, the ebbs and flows, the ebbs and flows. That's how it's called? Life is truly beautiful. I mean, every day when I wake up, I'm so grateful that I'm healthy, that I'm alive, that my family and friends are healthy and alive, and that I have this opportunity to decide about my life, because I know that not many have the same possibilities, and there were times where I didn't have this at all. And I remember almost dreaming about it, of how could I make my life to be more soft and more from the heart, like, because we always think that, the things that we want in our lives are something outside of us. What I've come to realize during the past year, after I turned 36, which I keep forgetting all the time, like I had to actually calculate whether I was 36 or 37, because the years sort of mush into one. Like the years don't really mean much at all at this time. I feel that every year is just an exciting journey to learn more about myself and the world around me and the people in my life also, because we're nothing without the people in our lives. Obviously, the people who are loving and caring and nurturing. I'm not talking about toxic relationships. Those we can let go. And especially when you turn 30, I would say that afterwards I became very aware of all the relationships, all kinds of relationships that I had in my life. And I wanted to share some of the things that I learned in the past 6 months, because my birthday is in September and this is February, so I'm sure there's a lot to learn every passing day, and even the days which feel that are not so important, like there's not much happening or going on. They're so important for your self-growth, to understand that you need to sit in the quiet place where nothing is really happening. You're not seeing the change, you're not seeing the development in yourself or in the things you put effort in, but the change is happening. It's there, it's behind behind the scene. Like you're not maybe able to see it, but things are shifting. Definitely trust that if you are putting in the work and your own personal growth. One of the things that I really noticed was definitely I became very sensitive and way more aware of the quality of my friendships that I have. Before, I was the person who was friends with everyone, and I would upkeep friendships from my past, people from my past workplaces, people who were friends of my friends, just almost anyone who I knew and I didn't have like any conflict with. I thought, why not be friends with them and just upkeep friendships? As the years go by, you notice that you have very restricted amount of energy to use, and you start to be very aware and mindful into what you're actually putting it in. I would say that many of my friendships in the past couple of years, but especially in the last 6 months, have really transformed either what they consisted of, so the friendships actually changed in what kind of topics or things we were doing in that friendships, or then they ended. Of course, there's always pain in ending a friendship if you're doing it actively or even doing it passively, in the way of just like letting them go quietly. There's still always pain behind thinking, did you fail as a person? Maybe you should have done something to upkeep it. Maybe there was something else you could have done. Understanding that most of the relationships that we have are not necessarily the ones that we need to invest in. And this way you're saving really the energy to invest in the friendships that you truly value and have in your life. Your time becomes very valuable to you. You start to think about where you invested in and whether a day being hangover is worth of that day. And to be honest, at this age, I would say that a hangover actually lasts like 3 to 4 days. So, and it's not like physical active hangover. It's usually just my mind being very foggy, which gets me to the next thing that I learned, which is definitely using alcohol or not using it, whatever you decide. A lot of my friendships were about having a drink or maybe just sitting at somebody's place and having drinks there, but it was mostly about alcohol and having fun around drinking alcohol. That was not something that I wanted to invest my time in. I'm not saying that I don't think that these social interactions were important. I do feel that it was fun being around these people, but I also noticed that there was this part of me that yearned to have deep discussions, understanding, open discussions about the things that matter to me. And if we were drinking, those were not on the table, definitely. They were not topics that we were discussing about. And let's say like openly discussing about, because of course we would be talking about all kinds of stuff, but there would be a lot of gossiping, just negative discussions that went down while consuming alcohol. And I didn't feel at ease while being in these situations, but afterwards it would really, like these feelings would emphasize even more on the day after. I noticed that drinking, even if it's in small amounts, it was just not making me go into the direction that I wanted to go and just elevate myself, not only physically, because it was obviously getting in the way of working out because I wouldn't have all the energy that I wanted to have, but feeling just very not connected to my body and my mind. Like I wasn't spiritually aligned in my life at all whenever I drank. And I'm not saying I will never drink again, but I do think about, I really take a hard look at when I decide to drink. And this is also connected to the friendships that I had, because some friendships really were about drinking. So naturally these friendships are not as strong anymore because I want to take myself out of these situations. And then there might be this understanding that maybe the friendships were only about drinking and gossiping. So there wasn't much else in these friendships. So it does affect a lot of relationships you have if you decide to quit drinking or even like drink less. But I do feel that it's for the better, because the people that I love and that love me and respect me and really appreciate my company and my presence, I know that they're not hung up on whether I'll be drinking with them or not. Even if I have all these quality friendships in my life at this moment, I've let go of the fear of being alone. I do have a companion, but I'm talking about being alone with your feelings and thoughts when the closest people to you are not able to reciprocate maybe, or that the feelings that you have within yourself is truly for you to discover and go through on your own. Not even the closest people to us can always be in our lives supporting us all the way through. I feel that there's so much internal work to be done that we need to be able to accept that there are times where no one can help you. It was quite freeing to admit to myself that I can go through any kind of event in my life and I can come out of it and still be loving and not jealous or a bitter person. Before, my character would have been someone who sort of still kept on to being bitter towards someone or holding a grudge because somebody did me wrong. But at this point, I truly feel that there is literally a lot of emotions that only you can work through. And it's such a beautiful thing that I have this calmness now about the things that I'm working through. And I know that I have the right people in my life to support me with those, because this is completely connected with how I was perceiving my friends, the quality of my friendships. In the past, I would have maybe been hurt by a friend not answering me right away, or maybe there was more misunderstandings because I thought that I knew what was going on, because that was my projection on them, because I was feeling bad and low about my own life and maybe my own situation. So I would project my expectations and all these things onto my friends. And this was also affecting some of my friendships, because I was in a place where I was not able to be completely myself, being able to enjoy your own time, your own energy, and just having more intuitive thoughts and feelings about your life and the direction you should be taking with specific people, or maybe, decisions that you're about to make in your life. It's really a privilege to have this quiet space, to be able to enjoy it. When I was younger, I was really anxious in being alone. I would feel crippling anxiety and just really the fear of being left alone and being without friends. But once I turned that energy inward and started to kind of ask myself, what were the things that I I enjoy doing, and started doing those things and really building my character, getting to know myself. That's really what it is. Afterwards, I've been very in peace with myself and with the days that are not socially as active, or with the days that where I feel I might have this negative voice within myself that is coming up or like creeping up and just trying to, put me down. I am more aware of it because I know who I am, and I can quiet this voice and also accept the voice and understand that it's there to protect me, but it also doesn't always have my best interest, so I can inspect it more freely. Something that I pay more attention now that I'm 36 is definitely my family. And by this I mean I would always put my family first. I had a friend who would question why I was spending so much time with my family, and specifically with my mother, and that really got me thinking. There's so many reasons why I like spending time with my family. One of them is they will never judge me. They will never judge my decisions. Of course, my mother will sometimes, because she doesn't always know the reasons why I'm doing the decisions that I do. But what I mean by this is I can truly be myself. I can be whoever I am at any day, even, when I'm not always wanting to be around people, I can always be with my family. And you become very aware of, while you are aging, you also notice them aging. So when I was younger, I never really thought about my mother's health or maybe her physical ability to do things. But once you grow older yourself, you notice your family also growing older with you, and it becomes very real image in your head. You understand that any minute and any decision that you make, like not answering your phone or deciding not to visit your family, or just sort of being selfish, I would say. I truly understand that all of these decisions will merge into one relationship that I have with my family. So if I always decide that I'm too tired of seeing them or answering the phone or going the extra mile to do something for them, like once, twice, it's okay to happen. But I became very aware of wanting to build a life that is about them and with them also, to have experiences, to go to places, to see things, to travel with them. It really becomes this focal point in my life where everything else, even my friendships, are secondary. And I know my friends understand this because they also have the same. And this is also why our friendships are so strong, because we understand and let each other to make decisions that we feel are strongly the right for us. You notice that life really is passing you by. I'm saying this in the way of, once you notice it, you can really understand that every minute that you spend, whether it's scrolling or doing something that you know is not building you. And I'm not saying you need to always be learning and growing every minute, but to look back and remember a moment. And for me, if I look back, I really don't remember the days when I've been working in the harbor or the days that I've been scrolling on TikTok. It's usually the days where I shared my time with my loved ones or my friends, my family. And these are the things that I really want to focus more on in the future too. And that was definitely one thing that has changed really profoundly throughout the last year. And it made me focus more on the experiences and the positive feelings that I have with the people that I love. And it's such a great feeling because nobody can take that away from you. I'm not focusing on material needs. It really does make a difference. Well, at least for me personally, I became way more kinder to my family. I became more aware of how I reacted to certain things, what kind of decisions and compromises also was I making with my loved ones, because our lives are so fragile in a way, and also time is such a crazy concept where you have it but you don't notice having it, but then you notice when you don't have it anymore. Every minute becomes very valuable to you. You start to value life. Overall, I would say turning 36 has made me more loving towards myself and others and the world and the things that are not going my way. We cannot really escape that. I would definitely say that it has made me more humble, definitely more humble. I hope you found something from my experiences, and I'll be seeing you next week. Bye.